Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins All World, Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today, we have an exciting topic that might just make you check your pockets, piggy banks, or old coin jars. We're talking about the United States of America Roosevelt Silver 1 dime from the year 2000. You may think that dimes from this era are too modern to be valuable, but hold on, there are rare variations of this coin that are worth an absolute fortune. Stick around until the end, because the value of this rare find will absolutely shock you. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of American currency since 1946, replacing the Mercury Dime. This coin was introduced to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. His contributions, especially in leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, made him a beloved figure. The dime was chosen for his tribute because of his role in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 2000 Roosevelt dime and what makes it special. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek. His right-facing profile is accompanied by the word Liberty on the left, the motto, In God We Trust, just below, and the year, 2000, at the bottom. If you look closely, you'll also find the small initials, JS, representing the designer. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, you'll find a beautiful and symbolic design featuring a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch stands for strength and independence. Surrounding these elements are the inscriptions United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum in the center, and 1 dime at the bottom. But here's where things get really interesting. The 2000 Roosevelt dime was primarily produced in a copper-nickel clad composition, which has been the standard since 1965. However, some rare silver-era dimes were mistakenly struck in 90% silver, making them highly valuable. These coins are essentially a throwback to the pre-1965 era when dimes were made of silver. If you have one of these rare silver versions, you could be holding a true numismatic treasure. Now, let's talk about mint marks. The 2000 Roosevelt dime was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, San Francisco, S. Proof coins. You can find the mint mark right above the date, near Roosevelt's neck. Proof coins from San Francisco are usually not found in circulation, but some have escaped into the wild, making them rare collectibles. The real value of a 2000 Roosevelt dime depends on certain factors, such as its condition, mint mark, and any unique errors. Some of the most valuable varieties include silver planchet errors. These are the dimes mistakenly struck on silver planchets instead of the usual copper-nickel clad. These errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Double die errors. If you notice doubling on letters, numbers, or Roosevelt's face, you might have a valuable double die error coin. These mistakes occur during the minting process when the die shifts slightly between strikes. Off-center strike. If the design of the coin appears shifted or incomplete, it could be an off-center error. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Missing clad layer. Some dimes from the year 2000 have a missing outer layer, exposing the copper core beneath. This type of error makes the coin unique and increases its worth significantly. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much could a rare 2000 Roosevelt silver dime be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these incredibly rare silver-era dimes, especially in pristine condition, its value could reach an astonishing $88,000. That's right, $88,000 for a single dime. So before you spend that loose change, take a moment to check your dimes carefully. You never know, you might be holding a hidden gem worth a fortune. Today, we have an exciting story about a modern dime that could be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the United States of America Roosevelt Silver 1 dime from 2007. You might think that dimes from this era are common, but rare varieties and error coins have been known to sell for staggering amounts. Stay with me until the end because the value of this dime will absolutely shock you. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, honoring Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of America's most influential presidents. It was designed by John R. Sinek and has remained a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. While most dimes today are made of a copper-nickel composition, some rare silver varieties from modern years have surfaced, making them extremely valuable. Now, let's take a closer look at the design and details of the 2007 Roosevelt dime. On the obverse side, we have the iconic portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left. The inscriptions include "Liberty" to the left of his profile, "In God We Trust" below his chin, and the year 2007 at the bottom. If you look closely, you'll also find the initials, JS, representing the designer, John R. Sinek. Just above the date, you'll see the all-important mint mark, which tells us where the coin was struck. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, you'll find a beautiful and meaningful design, a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left, representing peace, and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing strength and independence. Around these symbols, you'll find the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top, "E Pluribus Unum" in the center, and "1 Dime" at the bottom. Now, let's talk about what makes the 2007 Roosevelt dime special. Most dimes from this year were struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, but some rare errors were minted in 90% silver. These silver error dimes were never intended for circulation and are believed to have been struck accidentally on silver planchets that were left over from proof coin production. If you happen to find one of these rare silver dimes, you could be holding a small but mighty fortune in your hands. There are three main mint marks to look for: tongue sticking out, Philadelphia Mint, D, Denver Mint, S, San Francisco Mint. Proof coins. San Francisco minted proof dimes are usually struck in silver, but these are intended for collectors and are not meant to be found in everyday circulation. However, a few have somehow made their way into circulation, making them incredibly rare. Let's talk about the different factors that can make your 2007 Roosevelt dime worth big money. Silver planchet error. This is the most valuable variety, where a regular 2007 dime was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet. These errors are rare but have been found in circulation, making them highly sought after by collectors. Double die errors. If you notice any doubling in the letters, numbers, or Roosevelt's face, you might have a double die error. These coins are unique mistakes from the minting process and can be worth a lot of money. Off-center strike. If the design of the coin appears misaligned or incomplete, it could be an off-center error. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. Missing clad layer. Some 2007 dimes have been found missing their outer nickel layer, exposing the copper core beneath. These coins are considered rare errors and can fetch high prices among collectors. Now, the big question: how much could one of these rare 2007 Roosevelt silver dimes be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these ultra-rare silver error dimes, especially in high-grade condition, its value could reach an astonishing $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single dime. So, before you spend that change in your pocket, take a closer look. You never know, you might be holding a hidden treasure worth a fortune. Today, we're diving into an incredible numismatic discovery, the 1987 Roosevelt Silver 1 Dime. Most people wouldn't think twice about a dime, but what if I told you that some rare versions of this coin could be worth a fortune? Yes, you heard that right. There is a special variety of the 1987 Roosevelt dime that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike. Stay tuned until the very end, because you won't believe the jaw-dropping value of this coin. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American coinage since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime features a classic design that has remained largely unchanged for decades. However, not all dimes are created equal. Some rare errors and special varieties have made certain Roosevelt dimes extremely valuable, and the 1987 silver dime is one of them. Let's take a closer look at the details of this coin. On the obverse side, you'll find the profile of President Roosevelt facing left. To the left of his portrait, you'll see the word "Liberty," and just below his chin, the phrase, "In God We Trust." The date, 1987, is engraved at the bottom, and next to it, you'll find the all-important mint mark, which tells us where the coin was struck. Now, let's flip the coin over. The reverse side features a striking design, a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on one side for peace and an oak branch on the other, representing strength and independence. Around the edges, you'll see United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum in the middle, and 1 dime at the bottom. So, what makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime so valuable? Most 1987 dimes were minted in a standard copper-nickel composition. However, a small number were mistakenly struck on silver planchets. These error coins were never meant to exist, but somehow, they were released into circulation. These rare silver dimes are now some of the most sought-after coins by collectors. There are 3 mint marks to look for: tongue sticking out, Philadelphia Mint, D, Denver Mint, S, San Francisco Mint, proof coins. The San Francisco Mint produced proof dimes, and some of these were struck in silver for special sets. However, if a silver proof coin was accidentally released into circulation, its value skyrockets. The same goes for Philadelphia and Denver dimes that were mistakenly struck on silver planchets instead of the usual copper-nickel. Now, let's talk about what makes your 1987 Roosevelt dime valuable: silver planchet error. If your dime was struck on a 90% silver planchet instead of the standard clad composition, you could be holding an ultra-rare treasure. These errors are rare but have been found in circulation. Double die errors. If you notice doubling on the inscriptions or Roosevelt's portrait, your dime could be worth even more. Off-center strike. A misaligned design increases the rarity and collectability of the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable it becomes. Missing clad layer. Some 1987 dimes have been discovered missing their outer nickel layer, revealing the copper core beneath. These errors are highly collectible. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for: how much could one of these rare 1987 Roosevelt silver dimes be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare silver era dimes, especially in mint condition, it could be worth an astonishing $89,000. That's right, $89,000 for a single dime. So, before you spend that pocket change, take a closer look. You might just be holding a life-changing treasure. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story of a small but mighty coin, the 1977 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime. This dime may look ordinary, but a rare version of it has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Could you have one of these valuable coins hiding in your collection or even in your pocket change? Stick around until the end, because the value of this special dime will absolutely blow your mind. The Roosevelt dime has been a key part of American coinage since 1946. Designed by John R. Sinnock, this coin was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership and contributions, particularly in the fight against polio. The dime has retained its classic design for decades, but some years hold unique surprises, and 1977 is one of those years. Let's start by examining the details of this coin. On the obverse side, you'll see a bold portrait of President Roosevelt, facing left. To the left of his face, the word "Liberty" is inscribed. Below his chin, you'll find the phrase, "In God We Trust." The year 1977 is clearly marked at the bottom, and next to it is the all-important mint mark, which tells us where the coin was struck. Now, let's turn it over to the reverse side. The design features a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. Encircling the design, you'll find the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 dime. So, what makes the 1977 Roosevelt dime so valuable? Most Roosevelt dimes from 1977 were produced using a standard copper-nickel composition. However, a small number were accidentally struck on silver planchets, blanks that were supposed to be used for special proof coins. These silver era dimes were never intended for circulation, but a few managed to escape the U.S. Mint, making them highly valuable to collectors today. Let's talk about the mint marks you need to look for. Tongue sticking out, Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark was used on Philadelphia dimes in 1977. D. Denver Mint, marked with a small d near the date. S. San Francisco Mint, used for proof coins, some of which were struck in silver. Now, what should you look for if you think you have a rare 1977 silver dime? Silver composition. If your dime was struck on a silver planchet instead of a copper-nickel one, it's a major rarity. The easiest way to check is by weighing it. Silver dimes weigh about 2.5 grams, while standard clad dimes are slightly lighter. Double die error. If you notice doubling on the inscriptions or Roosevelt's portrait, your coin could be even more valuable. Off-center strike. Some dimes were struck with the design off-center, making them highly collectible. Missing clad layer. If your dime appears copper on one side and silver on the other, it could be an error coin missing its clad layer. So, how much is this rare 1977 Roosevelt silver dime worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare silver error dimes, especially in mint condition, it could be worth an astonishing $99,000. That's right, $99,000 for a single dime. So before you spend your spare change, take a second look. That tiny coin in your hand could be a life-changing treasure. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the Roosevelt Silver 1 dime from 1967. This particular dime holds a special place in numismatic circles for both its historical significance and its surprising rarity. If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare coins, you could be holding a treasure worth a small fortune. Stick with us until the end as we reveal just how much this coin could be worth in today's market. The Roosevelt dime, first minted in 1946, was designed by artist John R. Sinek to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. Roosevelt's image graces the obverse of the coin, while the reverse features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, a symbol of liberty, peace, and strength. The dime's simple yet powerful design has remained largely unchanged over the decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. Now, let's zoom in on the 1967 version. While many of these dimes were produced and circulated, a rare variant of the 1967 Roosevelt dime exists, and this is where things get interesting. Like other dimes from this era, the 1967 coin was originally produced with a copper-nickel composition. However, a small batch of these dimes was accidentally struck on silver planchets, blanks that were supposed to be used for proof coins, not regular circulation dimes. These silver dimes are the real treasures in the coin-collecting world. But why does this particular 1967 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime stand out? The 1967 dimes struck on silver planchets were not intentional, which makes them incredibly rare. The U.S. Mint typically used copper-nickel blanks for regular dimes in 1967. The silver versions, however, contain 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them a significant weight difference and a unique sheen compared to their copper-nickel counterparts. These silver error dimes are highly sought after because of their historical significance and rarity. If you're wondering how to identify a silver version of the 1967 Roosevelt dime, there are a few ways you can check. Weight. A standard Roosevelt dime weighs around 2.27 grams, but the silver versions will weigh around 2.5 grams due to the silver content. Color. While silver dimes tend to tarnish with age, they will have a distinct silvery shine that sets them apart from the typical copper. Nickel dimes. Sound. Another method collectors use is to ping the coin. Silver coins produce a higher pitched sound when dropped or struck, compared to the lower pitch of copper-nickel coins. Magnet test. Although not always a foolproof method, silver dimes will not be attracted to a magnet, whereas copper-nickel dimes sometimes have a slight magnetic pull. Now, the big question: how much is this rare 1967 Roosevelt silver dime worth? The value of a 1967 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime can vary based on its condition, but if you happen to own one that is in exceptional condition or is particularly well preserved, it could be worth an impressive $120,000. That's right, $120,000 for a single dime. When you hold a coin like this in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of currency, you're holding a piece of American history with a value that could change your life. So, before you spend your dimes, take a moment to check your collection. That small, seemingly insignificant coin might just be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed learning about this rare coin and want to explore more fascinating pieces of numismatic history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting!